Hey, it's Jody, and tonight is family project night. So we each had to pick a project and share what we were going to do. My mom's talking about her bathroom remodel, which I'll show you a little bit of. My sister Bree is learning about modern day dinosaurs. My sister Tamra is proving the existence of narwhals. And I am learning how to make cheese. So let me show you what I did here. I purchased this kit online on Etsy from Urban Cheesecraft, and I will put the link down below. Basically, the kit contains mostly everything you need to make what's called farmer's cheese. So it's just kind of a white cheese. And you know, I've been wanting to learn how to make cheese because, you know, the apocalypse. I can't go to the store and get cheese, and I still need cheese, right? So I gotta know how to do it. So this kit comes with cheesecloth, if you don't already carry that in your home. It also comes with citric acid that you need and cheese salt. And then stuff you have to have at home is a half a gallon of whole milk. You can do it with lesser fat milks, but they say whole milk is the best. And then you have to have a colander. And I just put a bowl underneath the colander to catch the whey, so we can use the whey to make soup or something later. So they tell you to take your cheesecloth and completely cover the bowl like this to be ready. And then the next step will be heating a pan to medium heat. So I'm doing that. And then I'm going to pour in my milk, my whole milk, and warm that up to 185 degrees. Pouring all that in there in a nice warm pan. It's a lot of milk. And right now my milk is like, see from my thermometer. You don't have to have a thermometer. They tell you how to tell if it's the right temperature, but I do have one. So it is 59 degrees in my milk right now, which doesn't seem right. It seems like it should be colder than that. 62. Oh, wow. Okay, well, maybe this thermometer doesn't work great. We'll see. So while that's cooking, you're supposed to take the citric acid, 1 tablespoon, and put it in a cup of water to dissolve. Teaspoon, sorry, not tablespoon, teaspoon. So I got my measuring spoon here, and my teaspoon of citric acid. I'm going to put just a tiny bit more in there because it wasn't quite level, and let that dissolve. And then that'll sit, and we'll use it a little bit later after the milk has cooked. So as the milk is cooking, you need to stir continuously to make sure that none of it sticks to the bottom. And we're not looking for big boiling here. We're looking for simmering. So when the milk is starting to kind of bubble and foam is forming over the top, we know that it's gotten pretty close to 185 degrees, which is what we're aiming for here. Looks like we're only up to 80 so far, if that's right. And we're just doing some more stirring, keeping the bottom from forming an attachment to the pan. We don't want that. We're starting to get a little bit of bubbles, and we're about 122 degrees according to the thermometer. So far we have been cooking the milk for about 6 or 7 minutes. Not sure exactly. More bubbles and more stirring. Let's see what our temperature is now. Ooh, 136. Okay, we're getting there. Okay, we're doing some stirring again. Our milk is definitely trying to make a love connection with this pot, which we do not want. We got to keep them separated here. And then let's check our temperature again. At this point, we're about 15 minutes in, maybe a little bit longer. Ooh, 166, 167. We're almost there. Once we get there temperature-wise to 185, then we're going to pour in that citric acid. Remember we put in this water earlier to help it dissolve. And one thing they didn't say in instructions was to stir it to help it to dissolve, because I just poured it in there and it just kind of made a clump at the bottom. So I just stirred it a little bit, and now you can see that it's completely clear and dissolved in there, which is what you want before you pour it into the pot. And once we get that 185 degrees, we're going to pour this into the milk, and that is going to start our cheese curds forming. Okay, now you can see how there's some bigger bubbles forming now, and along the edges of the pan here, there's foam forming, and that tells us that we're really, really close to our temperature. So the next thing we're going to do, check our temperature one more time. Almost there, maybe another minute. Okay, we're there. It's time to pour in our acid, and then we are supposed to stir vigorously. And when the whey starts forming, which it is, we're going to turn on the timer for 1 minute and let it cook. Now this time, once they start to form, the curds, you got to be really gentle because you can break them up. And see how once we put the acid in there, we got the lumps, and this is our cheese forming here. So we're going to let it cook like this for 1 minute, and then we'll transfer it over to our cheesecloth and drain it off. Ooh, it's getting exciting. Okay, it's time to take this off of the heat, and we've got some pretty serious curds forming here. We're going to take this over and pour it into the cheesecloth bowl. can use the whey for other things. It adds creaminess to soup. You can put it in hot chocolate, make pancakes with it. There's all kinds of things they suggest for the whey, which is that yellowish stuff that comes off. Now at this point, once it's drained a little bit, we're going to add some of our cheese salt and kind of mix that in a bit. Which also helps some more of the whey come out. It looks like cottage cheese right now, which is so good. And you can add lots of other things to it too, herbs or pepper or whatever you want. Let's take a little taste. Tastes like cheese. Okay, so now we're going to make our cheese wheel. So you're going to take your cheesecloth, put it in a tight bundle, and squeeze it a little bit. And then you just take like a plate, put it on top, and something heavy, and just let it sit there for a while and cool and form a cheese wheel. Once your little wheel is formed, you take it out of the cheesecloth, more like a lump, but you take it out of the cheesecloth and then you can chill it or serve it hot. You can add things to it like nuts or fruit or preserves, herbs, serve it with crackers or other cheeses or some bread, maybe like with tomatoes, like a caprese. And just eat it and enjoy. It looks pretty good. Here's what the whey looks like after it's done, and after everything's done, this is what you kind of get what's left over. And we're actually going to use this to make soup. You can use it for all kinds of things. We're going to make some soup with it tonight. Thanks for joining me, guys. Make sure to comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.